Hello everyone. Konbanwan everyone. Oh god, why is the mic like that? Hold on. It's too loud. Sorry about that. I don't know why it was turned up so loud. But now it is fixed. It is fixed. Sorry about that. For some reason it was turned up like very, very high. Anyway, hi guys. It is currently 8 p.m. Central Time on October 22nd, 2024. And today we're going to be reading some scary stories that you guys submitted either on Twitter or YouTube community. Yeah. I'm very excited. We haven't done a scary story reading in quite some time. Yeah. So, I'm excited about that. But. I have decided to update my stream rules a bit. Mainly because I don't want anyone to like hold on. 1 second. Sorry about that. I've been experiencing some coughing. Some coughing and some breathing issues since my collab earlier ended. Oh my god. Oh, I hated that. Oh my goodness. You're gonna be okay, yeah. I should be. I just have to get this feeling out of my throat. And then I should be okay. She's got the curse of Ra. Oh my goodness. But as I was saying, sorry about that. I did update my stream rules because I'd hate for anyone to get banned without knowing that the rules were updated. So I will be reading them out loud for everyone so that they know. Also, the rules are a little more at the top of the description compared to the bottom so that they're easier to get to. So, I will begin reading those as follows. Please follow these rules, or they'll send you to the pound, meaning you'll get banned. Be kind to me. If you can't say anything nice, please don't say anything at all. If you don't like something about my stream, please don't mention it in chat and announce your leave. Just leave quietly. Please leave your concerns to my email. Be nice to other viewers. Do not spam, troll, or argue with one another. Do not engage with spammers or trolls. Please block and report any problematic messages. Do not distribute other people's private information. Do not backseat unless I specifically ask chat for help. This goes for any kind of stream. Do not backseat my gameplay, handcam, cooking, karaoke, etc. Unless you akasupa, and then you can backseat. Please stay on topic. Behavior such as guilting me into doing or saying specific things on stream is bad. Do not use donations to try and persuade or guilt me into doing things either. Requests are only okay if they are part of a specific event. Do not mention numbers unless we are celebrating a milestone. Mentioning numbers, views, subscribers, concurrents, etc. will be viewed as off topic. Please do not say you are only here for me if I'm doing a collab or sponsored watch-along. It is rude to the other people involved. Please be kind to my collaborators and friends in general. For outside of streams, please keep things on topic while replying to tweets and keep things in the proper tags. Please do not pressure me to look at tags through chat or social media. Please send me an email instead about any inquiries, questions, and the like. Please do not mention other streamers in chat unless they're brought up during the stream by me. Similarly, don't bring me up in other streamers' chat unless given permission. Do not compare streamers in my chat. There is a time and place for everything. Streamers in their chat are not your therapists. This does not include just stating you've had a bad day. That's completely okay. Just be mindful of the uncomfortable situations you can put people in by getting too deep in negativity. Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to update that because I didn't want anyone to get banned before the rules could officially change. Yeah. Ooh, Neko Mimi, thank you so much for being a member for 38 months, and thank you so much for the head pats as well. These all seem like no-brainers, but I guess it's best to reiterate. Yeah, sometimes it's not, like, completely obvious, so I just wanted to, like, get out of the... get it out of the way, you know? I'm sorry I stubbed my toe, okay? Are quick references to your mates still okay? If it's, like, related to something I'm talking about. If it's related to something I'm talking about. Was there there were some brand new rules in there. There was a few new rules, and then, like, some were, like, brushed up upon. Oh my goodness. My throat is so weird right now. My throat is so weird. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's wrong with my throat. It feels like there's something in it, and I'm trying to get it out. Hold on. Let me take a Ricola. Let me get in here. I have no tea. I do not keep tea in my house. Gonna keep a little cough drop in my mouth and drink some water. Don't like tea? Not really. I don't really like tea. Also don't have honey. So I'm gonna wait for my throat to calm down a little bit before we get started. Ugh. I just had dinner. What do you keep in your house then if not tea? Coffee and soda and water and juice. The tea is like the one thing I don't have. Because I don't drink it. That soda throat cleanse. It does kind of coat your throat, you know. Yeah. I remember this BGM from other reading streams. Yeah. I use it for every single reading stream. I do like boba, but I don't drink boba tea. I like smoothies. Like taro smoothies with boba in them. Oh my goodness. Whew, my throat is so weird. Wow! I have tried Thai tea. I'm not really a fan. Yeah, I like taro a lot. I really like taro. Puberty. Oh no, my balls are dropping. I love taro. I love taro. I love ube. I love it. I feel like taro smoothies, or taro in general, kind of tastes like cereal. You know, like Captain Crunch berries. Like fruity cereal. That's what it kind of tastes like. Clipping rules are still the same as before. These are mainly just stream rules. Gotta change my name to Taro. Did you hear that Jack in the Box has a new ube milkshake? Really? Really? Hold on. Let's see. Jack in the Box. Let's see. Menu. Select a location. I have to select a location. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Oh. Okay, let's see. I want to take a look at this milkshake. Come on. Location. Come on. Oh, this is so annoying. I don't want to do this. I just want to see it. I guess I'll just look it up. Oh. It's called the Witch Please Shake. Oreo mixed with sweet ube. That looks so good. Ooh, I want to try it. I want to try it. Time to go to Jack in the Box. Time to go to Jack in the Box. Welcome, welcome if you're joining in. Oh yeah, the first story we will read is this one. I will send every story that we plan to read together as I read. So, we're gonna get started with this one, okay? We're gonna get started with this one. Alright, here we go. I was lying alone in my room when I heard the voice, deep and crackly, coming from beneath my bed. Hey, the voice called out. I told myself I was just imagining it. Hey, kid, the voice repeated. I drew my knees up to my chest and ducked my head under the blanket, trying to shut out the voice and the cold wind that drifted in through the window, ruffling the curtains. Who are you? I asked. I'm the monster underneath your bed, the voice replied. You mean you're real? I asked. What do you mean? The monster said. Of course I'm real. Do you have a name? I asked. Of course I have a name. Oh, well, what is it? Frank. Frank? Yeah, the monster said. Is there something wrong with that? No, I mean, I don't know, I said. It's just not very monsterly. Well, my parents didn't want me to be a monster. Really? What did they want you to be? A dentist. That's funny, I said. I could feel myself beginning to smile. What do your parents want you to be? It asked. I don't know. Hey, Frank? Yeah? Aren't you gonna, like, scare me or something? What? Why would I do that? Well, you're a monster, aren't you? Well, yeah, of course I am, but that doesn't mean that I scare little kids. But I thought that was your job. It is my job to scare people, he replied. But only bad people. Am I a bad person? I asked. No, he said. But you're not the one I'm here to scare. Who are you here to scare? I asked. The man in your closet. The skin on my arms goose-fleshed up. I wanted to ask him what he meant, but I fell silent as I heard a rustling coming from the closet. The door creaked open, and I could hear soft footsteps padding towards me across the bedroom floor. I didn't dare peek out of the blanket. The footsteps stopped, and I could hear heavy breathing next to me. I squeezed my eyes tight. The warm sanctuary of the blanket disappeared as it was yanked off me. I hugged my arms around my knees and prepared for the worst. A scream shattered the night air, followed by the sound of breaking glass. I opened my eyes a crack to see a knife lying on the carpet next to my bed, blade glinting in the moonlight. My parents rushed into the room and asked me what had happened, but I didn't know what to say. Only that someone had been hiding in my closet and they jumped out the window. My parents called 911. The police came right away. They picked up a man called Gary Thompson sprinting through the streets a couple blocks away. He was covered in blood and broken glass. They found Gary's car abandoned on our property, and inside they found duct tape, knives, barbiturates, and a video camera. From what I heard, Gary's lawyer employed an insanity defense, and Gary is currently incarcerated in a state mental facility for the criminally insane. I never heard from Frank the Monster again, but the officer who arrested Gary told me that he sleeps on the floor of the facility. He tells the doctor that he's terrified of Frank, the monster under his bed. That was called The Monster Under Your Bed Isn't Always There to Scare You. Good guy, Frank. Good guy, Frank. Good guy. Okay. The next one is a creepypasta. This is called The Disappearance of Ashley, Kansas. Ooh. Okay. Let me paste this. This is the next one that we'll be reading. Oh man, why is my throat so messed up today? This one is good. Oh, I'm excited. Let me drink a little water. Oh yeah, guys, don't forget tomorrow is our Spend All Day with Shiki stream. We're gonna be doing all day with Shiki stuff. I haven't quite decided everything that we're gonna do, but I know that at least in the evening we're gonna have a yakiniku dinner party. It's gonna be a hand cam where I do yakiniku. And we'll also be watching 2 movies together. We're gonna be watching Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and also 13 Ghosts. Yeah, all day. So basically from, I thought all day was Thursday. I thought it was on Thursday too, but on my schedule it's on Wednesday. Yeah. So I will be starting at 12 and I'll probably end a little bit before midnight. My time, Central Time. So it's your fault? Yeah, I think that when I was reading the schedule, I got a little confused. And I mixed up Wednesday with Thursday. But it's definitely happening tomorrow. Yeah. But it's right on my schedule and it's right on my waiting room. Yeah, it's just wrong. It was just wrong when I was reading it out loud. What I think I have planned for tomorrow is, you know, some chatting, a little gaming, maybe some crab game. I'm probably gonna have a bath time Twitter space in the middle of the stream. Maybe even a workout little bit. I can bring my elliptical into my room. And I'm trying to think of other stuff, but we'll just see. We'll do whatever I feel like. Because it's my day. I'm gonna do everything that I want to do. Yeah, get buff with Shiki. Exactly. Whew, 1 second. Alright, time for the next story. The disappearance of Ashley, Kansas. Had to clear my throat. Okay. Sometime during the night of August 16th, 1952, the small town of Ashley, Kansas ceased to exist. At 3:28 a.m. on August 17th, 1952, a magnitude 7.9 earthquake was measured by the United States Geological Survey. The earthquake itself was felt through the state and most of the Midwest. The epicenter was determined to be directly under Ashley, Kansas. When state law enforcement arrived at what should have been the outskirts of the farming community, they found a smoldering, burning fissure in the earth measuring 1,000 yards in length and approximately 500 yards in width. The depth of the fissure was never determined. After 12 days, a statewide and local search for the missing 679 residents of Ashley, Kansas was called off by the Kansas state government at 9:15 p.m. on the night of August 29th, 1952. All 679 residents were assumed to be dead. At 2:27 a.m. on August 30th, 1952, a magnitude 7.5 earthquake was measured by the United States Geological Survey. The epicenter was situated under what used to be the location of Ashley, Kansas. When law enforcement investigated at 5:32 a.m., they reported that the fissure in the earth had closed. In the 8 days leading up to the disappearance of the town and its 679 residents, bizarre and unexplained events were reported by dozens of residents in Ashley, Kansas, and law enforcement from the surrounding area. On the evening of August 8th, 1952, at 7:13 p.m., a resident by the name of Gabriel Jonathan reported a strange sight in the sky above Ashley. The town itself, having no official branch of law enforcement, called into the police station of the neighboring town of Hayes. Gabriel reported what appeared to be a small black opening in the sky. Within the next 15 minutes, the Hayes police station became overwhelmed, with dozens of phone calls all reporting the same phenomenon. The phenomenon was never reported by any neighboring communities. A decision was made: send of a trooper to Ashley to investigate the matter the following morning. At 7:54 a.m. on the morning of August 9th, 1952, Hayes police officer Alan Mace radioed the Hayes police station. He reported that despite following the one-way road leading into Ashley, he had become lost. According to his report, the road continued along its normal path, but somehow ended up back in Hayes. Officer Mace went on to add that the road never curved or bent in any direction. At 9:15 a.m., 7 of the town's 10 police cars were sent to investigate the situation, and all members of the team came to the same conclusion. The only road leading into Ashley stopped leading into Ashley, but instead led back to Hayes. Phone calls continued to pour into the Hayes police station, all reporting that the black opening in the sky continued to grow in size. All callers were advised to remain inside and to not travel unless absolutely necessary. At 8:17 p.m., Miss Elaine Cantor reported her neighbors Mr. and Mrs. Milton and their 2 children, Jeffrey and Brooke, missing. According to Mrs. Cantor's phone call, the Miltons attempted to leave town in their family car earlier in the evening. They never returned. Law enforcement officials from Hayes never reported the car or individuals coming up the one-way road. One moment, I need to cough. At 7:38 a.m. on the morning of August 10th, 1952, phone calls from Ashley into the Hayes police station reported that the town was in total darkness. The sun had never risen. At 10:15 a.m. at the request of Hayes law enforcement, a helicopter from Topeka, Kansas flew over the region in which Ashley, Kansas stood. The town was never observed from the air. At 12:43 p.m. on the afternoon of August 11, 1952, Miss Phoebe Januszewski called into the Hayes police station. She reported that her daughter Erica had begun to have conversations with her father, who died 3 years prior in a drunk driving accident. To add to her concern, she reported that Erica was attempting to go outside into the dark to join them. Over the course of the next 12 hours, a reported 329 phone calls were placed into the Hayes police station, all describing a similar phenomenon to the children of the town. The following morning of August 12, 1952, the situation became dire. During the middle of the night, all 217 children in the town of Ashley, Kansas disappeared. A reported 421 phone calls were placed into the Hayes Police Department. Unable to be of any useful assistance, Hayes law enforcement instructed all callers to remain inside and to avoid any and all attempts at finding the missing children. At 5:19 on the evening August 13, 1952, Ashley elderly man Scott Luntz reported a growing, distant fire to the south. According to his description, the fire seemed to turn the distant black into bright red and orange that seemed to extend high into the sky. Throughout the rest of the day, calls continued in, stating that the fire, in addition to moving north, now seemed to come out of the black sky. No fire was ever witnessed by any of the neighboring communities or law enforcement officials. The reports continued until 12:09 a.m. on the morning of August 14, 1952. The last phone call placed by a Mr. Benjamin Endicott reported that the fire in the sky had grown so intense that it began to appear as daytime over the town. The phone call ended abruptly. From the phone call placed by Benjamin Sherman Endicott, and it's a phone call. Benjamin, just hold on. Wait. Benjamin. Yeah, I see something. It's to the south, it looks like. Phone call ends. The next phone call wouldn't be placed until the following evening. The following is the entire transcript of the final phone call to be received by the Hayes Police Department out of the town of Ashley, Kansas. It was placed at 9:46 p.m. on the evening of August 15, 1952. In this recorded phone call, the officer on duty is Officer Peter Welsh. The caller has been identified as Miss April Foster. Officer Welsh. Hayes Police Department. Hello? Yes. Hello? Ma'am, who am I speaking with? My name is April. April Foster. Please, sir. Please help me. What's happening, ma'am? Last night they came back. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to... Last night they came back. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to calm down and speak clearly. What happened? Who came back? Everyone. Everyone? They all came in the fire. What do you mean, everyone? My son. I saw my son last night. He was walking down the street. He was burned. Jesus Christ, he was burned. Ma'am, he died last year. I raised him since he was a baby. It was just me and him. I told him to watch for cars when he rode his bike, but he never wanted to listen. Ma'am, what you're saying isn't making any sense. You said everyone came back? Are you fucking listening to me? Everyone. Everyone came back. Everyone who died or went missing, they're back and they're looking for us. He said, Mommy, I'm okay now. See? I can walk again. Where are you, Mommy? I want to see you. Ma'am, where are you? Are you safe? I'm hiding, just like everyone else. We saw them coming through the fields and some people opened their doors for them. God, the screaming. I don't know what happened to them, but their houses caught fire and they caved in. I have my curtains drawn. I'm hiding in the closet right now and... Ma'am? Is everything all right? Are you okay? Ma'am? Oh my god. Ma'am? Something just came in. Ma'am, stay as quiet as you can. Don't make a sound. Mommy? Mommy? He came inside. Stay absolutely still. Don't leave. Mommy? Mommy, where are you hiding? Stay quiet. I found you, Mommy. Ma'am? Ma'am? The phone call ends. The following morning at 6:55 a.m., the law enforcement officials of the Hayes Police Department arrived at the location of Ashley, Kansas. A smoldering, burning fissure in the earth was all that remained. That was the disappearance of Ashley, Kansas. That was nice. I like that one. I like when stuff is short and sweet like that, you know? It's effective. Real spooky, that one. It sure was. I had to Google Ashley, Kansas to see if it was a real place. Someone got a 25 kill streak and got attacked. Yeah. Oh yeah, One Up D, I remember that one. That was an interesting one too. Oh, okay. This next one is, I think it's like a real story from one of you guys. It's a story you submitted, I think, from something that happened to you. It's either like a real story or one that you came up with. And I'm not sure who submitted it. So, we'll start. My old secondary school was famous for having several spirit events and stories. At first, I and my mates just considered them as entertaining things until it happened to us. It was a night camp at school, which was organized... Oh, there is no link. They just copy-pasted it, or like wrote it in the link place. And it was at a night camp at school, which was organized in campus. My close mate had a crush with other mate. I will call this guy D. So she was going to confess to him at that night. She confessed to D at that place next to the school hall. I was waiting for them at the place that wasn't far to their place. D came out first and saw me. He told me that he rejected her, so he offered to let her have peace for a bit. Of course, I couldn't let my mate alone, so after I talked with D, I came in, but she wasn't there anymore. My school hall had square shades, so I went around to check if she was there. Behind the school hall was a bit dark because school focused light... I'm trying to piece this together. Because school focused light into main campus, which is a place for camping. When I came behind the school, it was strangely cold. I couldn't think much but ignore it and move forward. I realized that she was not at this place anymore. I reported the situation to my homeroom teacher. All classmates tried to find her at the campus immediately. It took a long time for us to decide to expand the finding area because they knew she wasn't in the main place anymore. That was the right decision because we finally found her in the backyard that was quite far from behind the school hall. This place is really dark and quiet. And because it's the place for collecting the daily school's junk and trash, normally no one comes if they aren't in charge of throwing away the trash. We found her standing, and she wouldn't react to the sound or the calling of her name. She was looking into the void, not blinking, not even moving. We came closer and knew her breath was cold. So, my mates helped to drag her out of the place. It was almost May, and that place was so cold, even colder than behind the hall. The teachers surrounded when they saw us running towards them. They placed her in the clinic, waiting until the ambulance came. Teachers told me that she was a bit awake while we were waiting, but not much. She kept mumbling, "home." Until now, we don't know what it means. The hospital told us she was just fainting, but we knew it wasn't that. Though it was just a faint, she came back to school after the camp event. She was normal again, but couldn't remember what happened to her. She said she just felt sad for getting rejected, but when she came back to reality, she was in the hospital with her family around her. There was an explanation from my homeroom teacher that her soul was weak from the negative thoughts, and that manifested other souls or spirits into her body. This rumor is also an urban legend, meaning... I can't discern the last part, but I see. So she was essentially possessed because she was in a negative state of mind. I see. I see. Let's see, what's the next one? Okay, this is another submitted one where the person dropped it in the they typed it in the link place. Okay. One August night, I was about to head to bed after scrolling through my Twitch homepage. I had been looking for a stream to use as white noise to help me sleep, and I had found one. I soon fell asleep, but was woken up about 2 hours later at 2 a.m. I turned in my sheets, and just as I was about to go back to sleep, I decided to check if the stream I had been using was still up. It had ended, so I looked for a new one. As I did, I heard laughter. Thinking I was mistaken, I got out of bed for some water only to hear it more clearly this time. It was the laughter of children in the middle of the night. I walked over to my balcony and walked outside. The laughing was gone, but the moment I went back in, the laughter was back. This one went on every Tuesday of August. A couple of weeks after it ended, it dawned on me. It had been the Hungry Ghost Festival in Chinese culture, and I lived next to a 2-kilometer-long graveyard just across the street, a 5-minute walk away! Oh my god! No! Spooky. This next one is actually from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And I'll send it. It's like a online PDF file. It's called a High Beam. High Beams. It's called High Beams. Yeah, we're reading High Beams now. That's the name of the short story this time. Alright, let's see. Where can I submit my story? It is somewhere in the YouTube community tab. It's somewhere in the YouTube community tab. Also, I won't be able to get through every single story today. I won't be able to get through every single story, as I have to end stream in about an hour or so, and my throat is starting to be really weird for some reason. Okay, this is called High Beam. The girl driving the old blue sedan was a senior at the high school. She lived on a farm about 8 miles away and used the car to drive back and forth. She had driven into town that night to see a basketball game. Now, she was on her way home. As she pulled away from the school, she noticed a red pickup truck following her out of the parking lot. A few minutes later, the truck was still behind her. I guess we're going in the same direction, she thought. She began to watch the truck in her mirror. When she changed her speed, the driver of the truck changed his speed. When she passed a car, so did he. Then he turned on his high beams. Letting her car with light, he left them on for almost a minute. He probably wants to pass me, she thought. But she was becoming uneasy. Usually she drove home over a back road. Not too many people went that way. But when she turned onto that road, so did the truck. Gotta get away from him, she thought, and she began to drive faster. Then he turned his high beams on again. After a minute, he turned them off. Then he turned them on again and off again. She drove even faster, but the truck driver stayed right behind her. Then he turned his high beams on again. Once more, her car was ablaze with light. What is he doing? She wondered. What does he want? Then he turned them off again. But a minute later, he had them on again. He left them on. At last, she pulled into her driveway, and the truck pulled in right behind her. She jumped from the car and ran to the house. "Call the police!" she screamed at her father. Out in the driveway, she could see the driver of the truck. He had a gun in his hand. When the police arrived, they started to arrest him, but he pointed to the girl's car. "You don't want me," he said. "You want him." Crouched behind the driver's seat, there is a man with a knife. As the driver of the truck explained it, the man slipped into the girl's car just before she left the school. He saw it happen, but there was no way he could stop it. He thought about getting the police, but he was afraid to leave her. So he followed her car. Each time the man in the back seat reached up to overpower her, the driver of the truck turned on his high beams. Then the man dropped down, afraid that someone might see him. Oh, that's spooky! That's so scary. Oh my goodness. That's spooky scary. Let's see. Hold on, I have the... Hold on, I need to get the link. Oh, this is told like a stage play. Okay. This is called The Legend of Crately House. So it's told like a stage play. So be sure that you read along with it so you know who is speaking. Okay? Make sure you read along with it so you know who is speaking. Huh. Okay. So, Theophan, the Imperial Man, 24 Thief. Nurum, the Bosmer Man, 20 Thief. Silanus Crately, Imperial Man, 51 Merchant. Dominisha Crately, his wife, 40. Aelva Crately, their daughter, 16. And Ministus Crately, their son, 11. Setting. The famous haunted Crately House and Traden Hall, first and second floors, requiring a stage with a secondary story where most of the action takes place. The stage is dark. There is a creaking noise. Footsteps on the stairs. The sound of a man breathing, but still, we see nothing. Then, a voice calls from above. Hello? Is someone down there? Should I wake up Papa? No. Maybe I was imagining it. A light from a lantern can be seen from the upstairs, and the slim form of a beautiful young girl, Aelva, descends the staircase at stage right, nervously. From the light of the lantern, we can see that we are looking at the second floor of a dusty old house, with a set of stairs going up, and another one going down on stage right. An unlit stone fireplace sits at stage left. A table, a locked chest, and a wardrobe complete the furnishings. Aelva? What are you doing? I'm just making certain. Go back to bed, Minestus. As the girl passes the table, we see a Bosmer Niram slide gracefully up from behind and around her field of sight. Carefully avoiding the pull of light, she doesn't appear to see him as he creeps closer to her, his footsteps silent on the hard wooden floor. When he is almost on her, there is a sudden crash from down below. This causes the Bosmer to leap away, hiding again behind the table. The girl does not seem to notice the sound, and Niram, peeking out from behind the table, watches her. Found anything? No, probably just my imagination, but I'm going to check downstairs. Is there a fire? I'm cold. Aelva looks towards the long dead fireplace, and so does Niram. Of course there is. Can't you hear it crackling? I guess so. Aelva suddenly jumps as if she heard something which we do not. She turns her attention down the stairs to the first floor. Hello? Aelva, lantern ahead of her, begins the descent. She does not seem to notice as an Imperial Theophon, carrying a big hag of loot and a lantern of his own, calmly walks up right past her. Excuse me, young lady. Just robbing you. Aelva continues her slow, nervous walk downstairs, which we can now see thanks to her light. She looks around the low-ceiling, thoroughly looted room as the action continues upstairs. Theophon's lantern provides the dim light for the second floor. Why are you hiding, Niram? I told you they can't see you and they can't hear you. Niram sheepishly steps out from behind the table. I can't believe they're all ghosts. They seem so alive. That's what spooks them superstitions. But they ain't gonna hurt us. Just reliving the past the way ghosts do. The night they were murdered. Stop thinking about that or you'll get yourself all willy spooked. I got all kinds of stuff on the first floor. Silver candlesticks, silk, even some gold. What did you get? Niram holds up his empty bag. Sorry, Theophon. I was just about to start. Get to work on that chest then. That's what you're here for. Oh yeah. I got the talent, you got the ideas. And the equipment. You refilled the lantern before we came here, right? I can't work in the dark. Don't worry, Niram. I promise, no surprises. Niram jumps when a young boy, Minestus, appears on the stairs. The lad creeps down quietly and goes to the fireplace. He acts as if he's stoking a fire, feeding it wood, poking at the embers, though there is no wood, no poker, no fire. We got all the time in the world, friend. No one comes near this house. If they see our lantern light, they'll just assume it's the ghost. Niram begins picking the lock on a chest of drawers, while Theophon opens a wardrobe and begins going through the contents, which are mostly rotten cloth. Niram is distracted, looking at the young boy. Hey, Theophon, how long ago did he die? Or did they die? About 5 years ago. Why are you asking? Just making conversation. As they talk, Aelva, downstairs, finally having searched the small room, acts as if she's locking the front door. Didn't I already tell you the story? No, you just said, hey, I know a place we can burgle where no one's at home except for the ghost. I thought you were joking. No joking, partner. 5 years ago, the Crateleys lived here. Nice people. You've seen the daughter Elva and the boy Menestis? The parents were Silenus and Dominisha, if I remembers rightly. Niram successfully unlocks the chest and begins rummaging through it. While he does so, Menestis gets up from the fire, apparently warmed up, and stands at the top of the stairs down. Hey! The boy's voice causes Niram, Theophan, and Elva to all jump. Why are you in bed? I'm just going to check the cellar. I'll wait for you. So, what happened? Oh, they was ripped to pieces halfway eaten. No one ever knew what, who, or what did it neither. Oh, there were rumors. Elva opens the door to the cellar and goes in. The light disappears from the first floor. Menestis patiently waits at the top of the stairs, humming a little song to himself. What kind of rumors? Theophan, having exhausted the possibilities in the wardrobe, helps Niram sort through the gold in the chest. Pretty good haul, eh? Oh, the rumors. Well, they says old lady Dominisha was a witch before she married Silenus. Gave it all for him to be a good wife and mother, but the witches didn't take too kindly to it. They found her and sent some kind of creature here late at night, something horrible right out of a nightmare. Elva! Elva, what's taking you so long? Ye gods, are we going to watch them get killed right in front of us? Elva! What's happening down there? Stop playing around, boy, and go to sleep. Papa! Menestis, frightened, runs to the stairs up. Along the way, he bumps into Niram, who falls down. The boy does not seem to notice, but continues on up to the dark third floor sleeping porch, off stage. You alright? Niram jumps to his feet, white-faced. Never mind that, he touched me. How can a ghost touch me? Well, of course they can. Some, anyhow. You heard of ancestor spirits guarding tombs and that ghost of the king they had in Daggerfall? If they don't catch you, what good are they? Why are you so surprised? You thought he'd move right through you? Yes! Silenus, the man of the house, comes down the stairs cautiously. Dominisha off stage. Don't leave us alone, Silenus. We're coming with you. Wait, it's dark. Let me get some light. Silenus goes to the cold fireplace, sticks his hand forward. And suddenly in his arms, there's a lit burning torch. Niram scrambles back, horrified. I felt that! I felt the heat of the fire! Come on down, it's alright. Menestis leads his mother, Dominisha, down the stairs where they join Silenus. I don't know why you're so scared, Niram. I must say I'm disappointed. I didn't figure you for a superstitionalist. Superstitionalist? Fuck. Superstitious. I'm just gonna say that. Theophan goes for the stairs up. Where are you going? One more floor to search. Can't we just go? Niram watches as the family of three following Silenus and his torch walk down towards the first floor. Elva? Say something, Elva. There, you see? If you don't like ghosts, third floor's the place to be. All four of them are downstairs now. Theophan goes upstairs, off stage, but Niram stands at the top of the stairs looking down at the family. The three look around the first floor as Elva did, finally turning down the cellar door. All four? Silenus opens the cellar door. Elva? What are you doing down in the cellar, girl? You see her? Oh, four, Theophan. I think so. I see someone. Hello? What if there's 5 ghosts, Theophan? Silenus thrusts his torch in through the cellar door and is suddenly extinguished. The first floor falls into darkness. Menestis, Dominisha, and Silenus scream, but we cannot see what is happening to them. Niram is nearly hysterical, screaming along with them. Theophan runs downstairs from the 3rd floor. What is it? What if there is 5 ghosts? The man, the wife, the girl, the boy, and what killed them? And what killed them? And what if it's a ghost that can touch us too, just like the others? From the darkness first floor, or the darkened from the darkened first floor, there is a creak of a door opening, though we cannot see it. And then there is a heavy, clawed footfall, one step at a time coming towards the stairs. Don't get so upset. If it can touch us, what'd make you think it wants to? All the others didn't even notice we were here. Theophan's lantern dimmed slightly. He adjusted it carefully. Only what if it ain't a ghost, Theophan? What if it's the same creature, and it's still alive? And it ain't ate nothing since 5 years ago? Footsteps begin the slow, heavy stomp up the stairs. Though whatever it is, we cannot see it. Hiram notices the light beginning to dim from the lantern despite Theophan frantically trying to fix it. You said you refilled the lamp! The light goes out entirely and the stage is filled with darkness. You promised me you refilled the lamp. More footsteps and a horrible, horrible howl. The men scream and the curtain falls. Ooh, that was interesting. I like how it was laid out like a play. This is on the unofficial Elder Scroll pages. This is neat. I like it. I like it, Picasso. That was nice. Very theatrical, yeah. Now I want to know what happened. I know. It was a world building book you could find randomly in the games. Oh, that's interesting. It's really interesting. I like it. Picasso. Let me drink some more water. Brrr. 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 My goodness. Let me drink a little bit more water. Alright, this next one is called Pattern. I'll link it. Yeah, I have a reflection in my glasses. And look, I can do this too. Miss Macy sniffed. Why is everyone worrying so? They're not doing anything to us, are they? In the cities elsewhere, there was blind panic. But not in Miss Macy's garden. She looked up calmly at the monstrous mile-high figures of the invaders. A week ago, they landed in a spaceship 100 miles long that had settled down gently in the Arizona desert. Almost 1,000 of them had come out of that spaceship and were now walking around. But, as Miss Macy pointed out, they hadn't hurt anything or anybody. They weren't quite substantial enough to affect people. When one stepped on you or stepped on a house you were in, there was sudden darkness. And until he moved his foot and walked on, you couldn't see. That was all. They had paid no attention to human beings, and all attempts to communicate with them had failed, as had all attacks on them by the Army and the Air Force. Shells fired at them exploded right inside them and didn't hurt them. Not even the H-bombs. The H-bomb dropped on one of them while he was crossing a desert area had bothered him in the slightest. He had paid no attention to us at all. And that, said Miss Macy to her sister, who was also Miss Macy since neither of them was married, is proof they don't mean us any harm, isn't it? I hope so, Amanda, said Miss Macy's sister. But look what they're doing now. It was a clear day, or it had been one. The sky had been bright blue, and the almost humanoid heads and shoulders of the giants a mile up there had been quite clearly visible. But now it was getting misty. Miss Macy saw as she followed her sister's gaze upward. Each of the two big figures in sight had a tank-like object in his hands, and from these objects, clouds of vaporous matter were emerging, settling down, settling slowly towards Earth. Miss Macy sniffed again. Making clouds? Maybe that's how they have fun. Clouds can't hurt us. Why do people worry so? She went back to her work. Is that a liquid fertilizer you're spraying, Amanda? Her sister asked. No, said Miss Macy. It's insecticide. Ha! I see. Oh my goodness, Rita! Rita, hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Hello, Bread Raiders. Hello, Archangels. I love you too. Mwah. I love you too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, guys. We are reading some spooky stories. Some spooky, scary story worries. Let's see. Ooh. How's the stories going? The stories are going good. The stories are going good. Alright. Ooh, this is another viewer submitted story. As in, this is like their original story or one that they wrote for this occasion. So I'll read that out loud. This is a story my dad used to tell me growing up. When my dad was a kid, he had a best friend named Albert. They lived in the crowded city of LA, so they'd often play out in the streets, much to my grandma's dismay. She'd always tell them that the streets are a dangerous place to play because of all the reckless drivers. In an effort to have them play in the backyard, she had a treehouse built, which worked wonders. That place was my dad and Albert's little safe place. One day, Albert had to leave for a road trip with his family. It was in the middle of summer, and my dad was so bored without his best friend by his side. A few days passed, and he was home alone with his dog. He was waiting for his aunt to come and babysit him when his dog started to whine while staring out the back door. He just assumed his dog needed to pee, so he opened the door, but the dog wouldn't run out. Instead, the dog would just whine and whine before running deep inside the house. Confused, he looked out and saw nothing under the bright summer sun. But then he heard a familiar voice. His eyes darted around until he found the source. It was Albert, whose head was poking out from the window of his treehouse. His friend beckoned him to come join him. My dad was beyond excited to join him, thinking that Albert's road trip got cut short for some reason. He climbed up into the treehouse but found nothing. Then Albert's voice bellowed out again. Out from the window, only Albert's head could be seen. He was upside down, and now he was asking him to join him up in the branches of the tree. My dad proceeded to climb out the window and began to scale the tree with his friends, still nowhere in sight. One last time, he heard Albert's voice call out to him. Albert was at the very top of the tree. For the first time, my dad could see Albert in full view. He was too far to make out any detail, but his clothing seemed awfully dirty. It was then he heard a different voice. This time it came from his aunt, who was yelling for him to come down. She had urgent news for him. My dad said to her, if it can wait until he's done playing with Albert. This reply confused her. Sensing this, he pointed to the top of the tree and said that Albert was here. At this moment, she began to scream and plead with him to come back down immediately.
Shocked by this, he made his way down as fast as he could. She pulled him inside the house, threw him into the bedroom, and began to pray, while tears streamed down her face. He started to panic as well. What could be going on? That's when she broke the news to him. Albert stepped out of the car while it was refueling to use the gas station bathroom. It all happened so fast. According to Albert's dad, one moment he was there, when he looked up, he was gone. An old man driving had struck Albert, and his car had drug his body 4 miles away from the gas station. The boy had passed away. This news did not make any sense to my dad. He had just seen his best friend. His best friend, just a few short moments before, was asking him to join him at the top of the tree. All his aunt could do was cry and pray as my dad looked out the window and faintly saw Albert at the top of the tree, still calling out for him.
Oh my god. Oh, that's spooky. He said, "Heaven's epic, bro. Get up here and fall." True story, apparent. Oh my god. Spooky. That was crazy. I like it. What is this? What? This was linked. This is from a Reddit called I Had a Stroke, and it's typos so bad you would think you're having a stroke. I'm gonna read it out loud. Man and girl go out to drive under moonlight. They stop it on at a side of road. He turned to his girl and say, "Baby, I love you very much. What is it, honey? Our car is broken down. I think the engine is broken. I'll walk and get some more fuel. Okay, I'll stay here and look after our stereo. There have been news report of stereos being stolen. Good idea. Keep the doors locked no matter what. I love you, sweaty." So the guy left to get fuel for the car. After 2 hours, the girl say, "Where is my baby? He was supposed to be back by now." Then the girl hear a scratching sound and voice say, "Let me in." The girl doesn't do it, and then after a while, she goes to sleep. The next morning, she wakes up and finds her boyfriend still not there. She gets out to check, and man door hand hook car door. Man door hand hook car door. Man door hand hook car door. I like it. Please link that one. Sure. Why is it called an oven when you oven the cold food out hot, eat the food? Man door hand hook car door gets me every time. That was a good one. I feel my brain cells receding. Oh, this one is a viewer submitted one. And they... Oh, this one actually has a Google document, so we can read it together. This one has a Google Doc that we can read together. It's called Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat. Let me drink some water. Halloween is a fine night for boys. To go trick-or-treating, dress up in costumes, transform into a knight, a superhero, a monster, to partake in festivities, and most of all, to indulge in the sweet, sweet candy that they could receive this night.
Yes, this Halloween night would indeed be a night for boys. This one magical day they could indulge in all the candy they wanted, downing sugar, devouring, enjoying. "We're leaving, Mom," cried a young boy. "All right, boys," a motherly voice cooed while heaving bags of candy. "Stay close to home. Do not leave the gated area." She handed the boys their empty pillowcases. "Have fun, kiddos." "Yes, ma'am." Two young voices yelled before they bolted out the front doors. "Jamie!" a ghost murmured. Two eyes peeked out of holes cut from bedsheets. No response. "Jamie! Jamie! Jamie! Jamie!" A messy toilet paper wrapped mummy's voice finally peeked out from the silence. Emerald eyes squinted. "No, Charlie, it's a stupid idea and your mom said to stay close. Don't you think she'd be worried sick if she found out we went there?" "But Jamie, Will and Tom, they said the old witch had the best candy for miles. Full candy bars, I tell ya." The ghost gleamed with excitement as he jumped up and down. Bedsheets wavered in the wind. The mummy paused. It really was stupid. No one ever approached the house at the far end of the neighborhood, no matter how brave a boy claimed to be. Many cowered at the mere sight of the manor. It was tall and dark. Dead trees surrounded it, nestled it. Spires lifted around like grasping bony fingers. The boys approached. Something grabbed the mummy's hand. "I don't care, Jamie. We're going, or at least I'm going, so you better come with me. You want that candy too, I know it." Jamie said nothing. It was true. He did want that candy. That sweet, sweet candy that melted in his mouth. The chocolate, the gummies, the lollipops, all of it. So he followed along silently. The two boys stood silently on the front path of the manor. They stared. Their hair stood on end. A single bolt of lightning flashed in the sky, and birds called from the decayed tree. Crows, 1, 2, 3, 4, a total of 13, perched upon branches and watched, waited. The ghost's hand left the mummy's. "Charlie, wait!" The doorbell rang out. Jamie sprinted to the doorstep. As he slowed, the door widened. An elderly woman stepped out with wild white hairs and wrinkled skin. Like a sun-withered raisin, she smiled sweetly. "Hello, boys," she spoke. Her voice cracked and wavered with age. "Trick or treat?" The boys stammered as they awaited their candy before they turned and bolted as quickly as possible. "Of course, one moment." She grabbed her candy bowl, looked inside, and sighed. A disappointed look melted onto her face. "I'm terribly sorry, dears. I've run out of candy, it seems." The boys locked nervous eyes. "But if you would like, I could offer you boys some tea and see if I have any more. Please come in." The boys shuddered. Jamie took a soft step back and signaled Charlie to get out. He turned around and, "Yes, ma'am, we will, thank you." Charlie responded sweetly. Jamie eyed him as if he were mad. "Wonderful. Come in, come in." The boys stepped in and were greeted with a quaint aged parlor. The floorboards creaked under the boys' feet. Framed pictures sat atop shelves, and Jamie made eye contact with two bright beady blue eyes, brighter than he'd ever seen. The eyes belonged to an older, bearded man who stood next to a younger witch. "I see you're interested in the pictures, dear." "Oh, my poor husband, Ray. He simply disappeared one day. Murdered, I'm sure." "I never caught the monster who did it." The woman stared. "Anyway, please join your friend," she said as she mentioned to the ghost, who sat on an old couch. "Tea is done. I'll bring it out momentarily." Jamie sat down and immediately noticed the strange couch. The leather was unlike any he'd seen before. The texture was off and the color was pale and peachy. Small pieces were sewn and stitched together maniacally. embellished with white stone buttons on the cushions. Jamie turned to Charlie. "Are you crazy coming here? Are you crazy, dude? Who would give up such awesome candy?" the ghost responded. Before Jamie could retaliate, the woman returned with the tea. She set it on the coffee table, which was decorated with tiny sculptures of skulls and monsters, material like that of the couch buttons, and decorative jars. Fake eyeballs floated with them. The sight unsettled Jamie, but he didn't want to leave his friend, or the candy. Charlie took a teacup and Jamie followed suit. The warm liquid trickled down the mummy's throat. His face puckered as he endured the awful taste. It was bitter and tasted of almond, and honestly, Jamie did not care for it. He set his porcelain down and waited patiently, anxiety welled in his chest. "So, have you got any more candy, miss?" Charlie turned to look at the woman. He had ditched his ghostly bedsheet. "Patience, child. You must learn patience. One day you'll learn." She smiled, then turned to Jamie. "And you, dear, you have such beautiful eyes, you know. What a delightful shade of green," the crone murmured. "I wish I could have them for my own." Jamie gulped. He opened his mouth to respond, but was hit with a strong sense of dizziness and stopped. The room spun. His heart thumped in his head, faster, faster, faster. He glanced over at Charlie, who had downed the whole cup and looked terrible. He was pale and sweaty and about to pass out. With consciousness nearly faded, Jamie's eyes darted around. The witch had fled. His eyes trailed to the coffee table. He stared, shocked. A pair of bright, beady, blue eyes stared back at him.
Ooh! Ooh! Spooky. Spooky. Let's see. Let me... I love brown eyes. Brown eyes are my favorite. Okay, so... Okay, this one is called "My Dad Finally Told Me What Happened That Day." I feel like I may have read this before, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll read it and see. I'll link it as well. Oh, this was posted 8 years ago. Alright, here we go. I went to visit my dad not too long ago. We have a good relationship, and we just don't talk all that much. His health is starting to decline. He was a little wistful. We're just each having a beer, not saying much. When he says he has something he needs to tell me. You're old enough, you may as well know. I didn't know what he was talking about, so I asked him. Remember that time I got home from work real upset, and I wouldn't tell you what happened? I did remember. It wasn't something I would ever forget. He wasn't just upset, he was scared of something. I'd never seen Dad scared in my life until then. He was the kind of guy whose bar fights are town legends. I also remember he told me to never ask him about it, so I never did. What he told me disturbed me profoundly. I've been bothered by it ever since. I hope writing it out will help me deal. First, a little background. First incident. When I was really young, like 4 or 5,
My dad and I lived in a cheap apartment building on the ground floor. I don't remember much about it. I know I didn't like it there. The kids weren't nice to play with, and they'd steal my toys, and it was just a grimy area. But we were having tough times, and it's what we could afford. Probably what I remember most about the place was how I would get woken up from sleep every once in a while by flashing lights. I don't remember being too worried about it at first. I just assumed there was lots of lightning in that area. I was 5. I didn't know jack about meteorology. One night, my dad had my uncle and his wife over for a crab leg dinner. I remember it distinctly because it was the first time I'd ever eaten crab. While they were talking, I just casually mentioned the lightning last night. Dad said, "There wasn't no lightning last night." I thought he was just clowning around, so I laughed and told him how the flashing lights woke me up. He and my uncle got serious. That freaked me out because they were always silly when they got together. They asked me more questions about the lights, nothing I recall exactly, but they decided I was probably seeing headlights from cars driving by shining on the curtain. I guess I believed them, but after that, I'd always get nervous when the flashing lights would wake me up, because I knew it wasn't lightning anymore. A few times I called for Dad when it happened, but when he'd get to my room, there was nothing to see. He started telling me it was all in my head. We moved out of that apartment after a year or so when Dad's handyman business picked up. The flashing stopped when we left, so I came to believe it was a combination of passing cars and my imagination. It wasn't something I ever gave much thought to again until recently. The second incident. One time, I was helping my dad out on a job. This was a bigger job, kinda rebuilding a whole house, so we had a few other guys working with us. Some of them I knew and some I'd never seen before. I was used to it. It's what he always did on bigger jobs. I was sitting off on my own eating my lunch and listening to my CD Walkman. Dad generally didn't eat lunch, he'd just get too into the work. So, he was still busy on site. Suddenly, I noticed a guy walking towards me from the general direction of the site. I didn't remember seeing this guy before, but he was making a beeline straight for me. He was an oldish guy, his head was shaved and he was wearing a Ramones t-shirt. He sat down beside me, way too close. I didn't say a word. I took off my headphones because I didn't want to be rude, and I said, "Hi." He told me my dad was looking for me and I should get heading back as soon as I'd finished my sandwich. That was the plan, anyway, but I said that was fine. To make things less awkward, I said I liked the Ramones. He didn't seem to even know who they were. After sitting with me for a few moments longer while I ate my sandwich uncomfortably, he got up and started walking away. I was relieved. I started to put the headphones back on when he stopped suddenly. I don't know why, but it freaked me out. I froze. He turned around and fixed me with the most hateful stare I'd ever seen. I don't know what it felt like to be hated until then. It was like he wanted me dead. I remember thinking what I should do when he attacks me, but he didn't attack me. He just shouted, "Someone's been sleeping in your bed and I don't like it." He stalked off, leaving me puzzled and terrified. It was probably 85 degrees out, but I was shivering. I put the rest of my sandwich away and went back to work. I asked my dad who that guy was a little later. He said he had no idea what I was talking about. I described the guy, and Dad said nobody like that even worked on the site. At the time, I figured it was just some weird drunk, but now it has a whole new meaning. Things I didn't catch before stand out, like my sandwich was still in the box when that guy talked to me. How do you know what I brought for lunch? Dad's story. When I was 15, Dad was called out on a job some house away on the other side of the bay. In the town I grew up in, you have two sides. One side of the bay has all the beaches and the mall, and the other side has downtown and lots of woods. The old apartment was on the beachy side. The house he was called to was a quarter of the way to the next town on the woodsy side. So, he shows up in his van with all his tools. The front yard is really overgrown. No vehicles in the driveway except a rusting husk of what used to be a 70s model Chevy. The house is in pretty bad shape, but he went up to the front door. Before he could knock, he saw a note telling him to come right in, and they'd be back soon. He didn't like going into someone's house without them there, because he didn't want to be accused of anything, but he'd driven far, so he went ahead. He got to work on repairing some wood rot around the window frames. He'd been there for nearly an hour when he thought he heard someone. He went to check. There was still no car in the driveway except for his van. "Hello?" he called. He heard what sounded like a door slam. Dad was not the kind of guy to get nervous. He was a local legend for his bar fight, but he told me he was starting to get creeped out, and that just pissed him off. So he started stomping around the house. He saw the back door was wide open leading into the overgrown backyard. He wondered if it was just the wind moving the door. He closed it and was going back into work when he decided to just look the place over, just in case. He looked around downstairs. There's nothing much to see. The house is in bad shape, but it's furnished. The place is kept fairly clean and tidy. The electricity still works. Someone's definitely living there, but he's not able to keep the place up. He's pretty much satisfied his concerns, but he goes upstairs to look around anyway. Upstairs is much the same as down. Clean and tidy, just in need of repair. Something doesn't feel right about the place to him. Dad's never been much of an intuitive kind of guy, so those must be some bad vibes. The last room at the end of the upstairs hall is closed. It's the only door that was closed. It's jammed in the frame somehow, but he gets it open. It's just a bedroom, all painted yellow with yellow furniture. He spots some wood rot around the window frames upstairs, too. He was told there'd only be 3 windows to do, and this one made 4. But he checks it out. When he does, the sill just lifts right off, and there are papers and things stuffed between the walls. He's seen it all. It doesn't surprise him. He pulls the papers out because he plans to go ahead and do this window too. Because he's like that. He wouldn't ask for more money. He just wanted the whole job done. When he pulls the papers out, he sees it's mostly photographs. Dad is big on privacy. He just happened to see the photographs and he knew he was looking at something bad. He started flipping through them. They were all pretty much the same. The back of each picture is dated, but every one of them was a picture of a little boy sleeping. Dad recognized me in that ground floor bedroom right away. He remembered my stories about the flashing light. It hadn't been in my head at all. Someone had been taking pictures of me asleep for almost a year. He told me there weren't any pictures of other boys either. Whoever took the photos was only taking pictures of me. He called the police, of course. The listed owner for the house was an elderly couple living in Vancouver. They used to summer in the home, but just hadn't gone around to it in years. They didn't even notice they were still paying the electric bill. They had no idea about the pictures or hiring my dad. It was a dead end. I had so many questions after he told me this. For one, why would someone who was so far away from our apartment drive a 30-minute drive at night to take pictures of just me? How'd they even know me? How'd they fixate on that one apartment of our kid? And why call my dad out to find the stash of pictures? After a decade of leaving us alone, That actually had an answer for one of those questions. In a way, I find this creepier. Turns out he went out to the wrong address. He wrote it down wrong. When police checked his answering machine tape for clues, he was actually called to a much closer home by a completely innocent guy. He stumbled on this house and stash of pictures completely by a random misunderstanding. So, who left the note on the front door? Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was spooky. It's a part of a series too, but we don't have time to read everything. Oh my gosh. So scary. That's so scary. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my god. My goodness. Feel free to continue on your own time. The way the story evolves and the twists and turns are jaw-dropping. Oh my god. I will have to read that the rest of the story sometime soon. That's crazy. Whew. Wow. But yeah, I linked it if anyone wants to continue reading. There's like a part 2 and 3, and I don't know how many more parts there are, but oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think that's about all that we can read for today because my throat is starting to like really like not feel good. And I want to make sure that I have all my vocal strength for tomorrow because I'm going to be streaming for like 11 to 12 hours. But yeah, that was nice. We got to read quite a few nice little scary stories. Thank you guys for submitting. I really want to continue reading that one. That was really good. That was really, really good. Yeah. Tomorrow we'll probably like take it pretty chill, you know? Because it's just like a day in the life of Shiki, you know? So I'll hop on my computer, you know? We'll chat for a bit, and then maybe we'll work out for a little bit, and then maybe we can do a little Twitter space where it's like a bath in the bath, and then we can come back and maybe we can play a game and stuff and all that good stuff. Can we walk Ozzy too? Ooh, it might be a little too much for me to take my phone when I take him on walks though. Yeah. PP raid. Oh my god, we were just about to end too. I was about to raid into Pina. I was about to raid into Pina. We were just ending. Thank you, Pina. Hi, pen pals. We're gonna raid into someone else though, okay? We're gonna raid into someone else. Pina got to us first. Hello, pen pals. We're about to end as well. Wow, my throat's kind of crazy right now. But we're gonna raid into my friend Nino. I'm actually collabing with Nino on Thursday. So, we'll go right into her. She's a wonderful singer. She's playing a horror game right now. Yeah. Pina did push-ups. I got to watch a little bit. I think you failed your first game, and I got to see it. Yeah. Alright, guys. Please get some rest. Oh, thank you, Pina. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Pen pal, thank you for coming. We're gonna run into my friend. Thank you guys so much for coming out to today's scary story reading. Sorry about my throat getting out so early. It's been a little crazy lately, but I will be back tomorrow. We're continuing our 12 days of Halloween with an entire day of Shiki tomorrow. It's gonna be 11 or 12 hours. Really, anytime I feel like going to bed tomorrow is when I'll end my stream, so yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I had so much fun. I love reading scary stories. I like getting all immersive with it, you know. So thank you guys so much for coming out, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now. Oyashiki. Mwah. Mwah. And just a reminder, don't look behind